Hey guys, Prince227 is back. I'm gonna talk about Silver Linings Playbook. I just saw this movie for the second time yet last night. And Silver Linings Playbook was the Slumdog Millionaire of 2012, in that I wouldn't have paid it any attention. Probably would have never seen it, never paid it any mind, and had it not received all this amazing Oscar buzz, all this amazing reviews, and said, oh, you have to see it, it's so good, it's gonna win all these Oscars. So that's probably the only reason I checked out this movie. Same thing with Slumdog Millionaire. And much like Slumdog Millionaire, I loved this movie. I thought it was amazing. It was phenomenal. Just a great, grand movie. It's a real crowd pleaser. And there's just so much to talk about with this movie. It's hard to tell where to begin. For one thing, it's so unpredictable, this movie. I love that about it. It's like, it's not one of those movies where like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. You can never know when this movie's gonna end up. Like, the first time I saw this movie, I was just like on the edge of my seat the whole time. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? You just have no clue, and it's awesome. Which I much prefer to movies where you can just like, oh yeah, it's just, you know what's gonna happen. And the other thing this movie has amazing strengths for is just, well, there are a couple of things actually. One of them is it's so brutally honest and emotionally just like, it's just what they talk about in this movie is just so just, I'm trying to think of a word. It's like, it's brutal, this movie. You're not prepared for it. You just like, it's kind of like a train wreck. Like, it's so just devastating and uncomfortable, and you know you shouldn't be watching, but at the same time you're just like, oh, I gotta see what happens next. Because there's all these crazy scenes of just like people just having it out at each other. There's just all this yelling, and there's the infamous diner scene, which I won't spoil for you. But at the same time, it's watchable throughout all that, which I loved. And like I said, I think it's for two reasons. One of them is just because it's so unpredictable, and you so desperately want to see what's going to happen next. And the other reason is just because of the acting and the characters, which is like top of the line, beyond Oscar caliber. Bradley Cooper, he was just not the biggest Bradley Cooper fan, but he really won me over in this movie. Like, you just like never doubted him for a second in this movie, and he was so sympathetic. You're like on his side the whole time. You're like, you just want him to pull through. Robert De Niro was fantastic. He was, I think he might have atoned for his sins with Little Fockers. I know Little Fockers are pretty bad, so he still has the last sins to atone for. Or if he makes 5 more movies like this, he'll have atoned for it. But of course, the real prize was Jennifer Lawrence. Phenomenal. Top of the line. She took the cake. She dominated this Mount Everest of a role. I mean, come on, anyone else would have just run away screaming from a role like this, and she was like, nope, no, I'm gonna do it. She deserves all the credit in the world for that, and she earned her Oscar. I rarely say that about Oscar winners, but she earned it. She was just so amazing and so good, and I try not to spoil it all for you guys if you haven't seen it yet. Just, you gotta see it to believe it. She is one of the best performances I've seen in a movie ever. I don't know if she's as good as Christian Bale in The Fighter, which ironically is from the same director as this movie. But I might have to reshuffle some stuff because she is like in the top 5. She is just so amazing, and I guess it earned her Oscar, earned everything, award, all the praise, and just, yeah, what more can be said? She's just so good. I think she made the movie, and like no one else could have played this role. I heard that the original plan was to have Vince Vaughn and Zooey Deschanel in this movie, and that I would have avoided like the plague. That would have been a horrible film. Like I said, no one else could have done it the way these guys did it, and it was just so phenomenal. So if you haven't seen Silver Linings Playbook, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's so good. It's so just raw and brutal, and you're gonna love every second of it. 9 out of 10. It's just, yeah. Don't believe me, see it for yourself. And I probably have a little more time, so I'm going to talk about another movie I saw, which was G.I. Joe Retaliation. And of course, obviously, everyone and their dog is going to be flocking to this movie because of the delayed release. And I thought, and because it's bad enough that the unenvious task of following up a pretty terrible action movie. I know I gave it a good review a while back, but that was me being stupid. I've since given it a couple rewatches, and it's not as good. That was years ago. I doubt any of you remember. Anyway, this new movie, yeah, it's bad enough that I had to follow a terrible action movie, and then it got delayed for like 10 months. So, yeah. But that being said, as it stands, it's a decent action movie. I have to say, it's got accomplished what it set out to do. It was fun, it was entertaining. It had some cool action scenes. They put into good use. There was some creativity there, and The Rock was actually pretty cool in this movie. I did like him, and I know, I'll get into that at the end of this video. But I'll talk about like why the delayed release and all that. But yeah, I thought this was actually a pretty decent action movie. It had some cool stuff about it. Does it have problems? Absolutely. So like, there are a lot of characters that they didn't do a whole lot with. Like Bruce Willis, I had to say, didn't do a whole lot in this movie. By the way, A Good Day to Die Hard, awful. Just top of the line awful. Next to nothing good about it. Like, don't even see it for yourself to believe it. Just don't. It's so bad. But back to G.I. Joe. It was, like I said, there are a lot of characters that kind of fell by the wayside. And there's a lot of scenes that like slow down the movie, like have a emotional scene, and like that doesn't work. Didn't work in Rise of Cobra, won't work here. But like if you wait this long, definitely see it. It's a good 2-hour killer. Accomplishes what it's out to do, which I have to give it credit for that. And 7 out of 10 for it, I have to say. And the one thing this is a bit of a spoiler. Actually, it's a huge spoiler. So if you haven't seen the movie, just bail out now. They said they like delayed it for 10 months to add more Channing Tatum in the movie because someone told me, oh yeah, they killed him off in the early version, and they're trying to unkill him in this movie, and he still dies in this movie. So, and if they added more scenes, they only added like 2 or 3 scenes, so it was an absolute waste. That's my conspiracy rant on G.I. Joe Retaliation and my review of Silverline's Playbook. And I hopefully summer's coming up and got a lot of movies. I got to see Iron Man 3 is coming out pretty soon. Now You See Me, which is the big one for me. That's my number 1 most anticipated movie of the year. Elysium, we just got the new trailer for that. Really cool. And of course, Comic-Con this summer for me. I'm going again. I'm going to get like 10 times as much stuff. 10 times as much videos, pictures, what have you. I'm going to meet 10 times as more celebrities. And yeah, very excited for 27 out.